Hello and welcome to our very special Pride Month edition of ATXM News. I'm Jessica Forsyth.
And I'm Ray Price.
And happy Pride Month! We're both musicians working for musicians through Austin, Texas Musicians nonprofit, serving the Central Texas music community on city, state, and federal policy, and providing basic needs and services that improve our quality of life.
So much of our advocacy work involves both education and preservation. And with this special Pride edition of ATXM News, we hope to shine a spotlight on some very important queer musicians who make Austin music what it is.
That's right. We've gone in depth with 3 Austin musicians that you, our audience, told us you wanted to hear more about.
So, without further ado, we sat down with an amazing young singer, songwriter, guitarist, and pianist, Julie Bouchard. Check it out.
My name's Julie Bouchard. I've been playing music and instruments since I was 5. I started with piano, classically, in the French household. It's very important that you learn an instrument. So now very, very fortunate to have learned piano first, and then picked up guitar in high school because I thought it would make me look cool. And so check, moving on. And then ADHD kicked in pretty hard. So then picked up drums, picked up bass, picked up ukulele. And I actually never really started singing until end of high school, where my sister, she was always the vocalist in the family. She was in chorus and did all that kind of stuff. And I was playing piano for her, and she was practicing for something in New York called NYSSMA, which is like a vocal kind of competition within the high school age range. And I was helping her practice, and she wasn't quite singing something right. And I was just saying it back to her, and she was like, "Why did that not suck?" And I was like, why did that not suck? And kind of started that whole musical vocal journey there. Songwriting, again, started for a, I think, hilarious reason. I was a band kid, played clarinet growing up, and my band teacher was having a bad day, literally stormed out of band practice in front of the entire symphonic orchestra. And I was like, I hate that my favorite teacher is sad. So I wrote him a song called Smile. And that was the first song I'd ever written, and I played it for him. And then I ended up getting an internship with the Queen's Orchestra in Queens, New York. And I was able to notate that song for the orchestra and chorus in Queens. And before I graduated high school, we were able to perform that at the spring concert. So that was a fun experience I got to have. And now I play around Austin on a pretty weekly basis. I have a residency with Idle Hands on Rainy, and then play quite a bit at Culinary Dropout just about every week, and then lots of weddings and lots of corporate events. Love those weddings with the heartstring pulling. Yep. So yeah, my like queerness is really important to me, just because it takes a lot of people a long time to become so comfortable with who they are, and I'm so proud of who I am, and I'm so proud to represent my community any way that I can. And so for me, it just adds that little bit of, I don't even see it as pressure, I see it as backing, just because I know anything that I do, I get to represent my community, and I get to show up for them, and I get to perform for them and all that kind of stuff. As far as difficulties, I always have your general kind of homophobic glance from time to time if I play kind of a smaller town out of the city limits of Austin. But I always find that if I go at everything with that respect and kindness, I kind of go towards everyone and everything that I do. There's not really a lot you can hate there. Because if I'm coming at you like, "Hey, my name's Julie, it's so nice to meet you, and I'm happy to be here," what can they come back with? Like, get out? No, they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, it's nice to meet you too." So personally, I think I've been fortunate enough in music to not have been confronted with such hatred while I play, but I think it's atoned to the way I come about my music as well. Just love and respect all the way. I think just continue to be inclusive, and really make sure you're being very specific about the artists you are choosing to support, and the spaces you're choosing to create. A lot of spaces, specifically in Austin, do a great job of making sure that it is a space for everyone. The small little thing of having a pride flag next to your bar, even if it's a tiny, tiny little sticker, just that visual representation could tell someone, hey, you're safe here. Or you're safe to perform here, or you're safe to tell what this song is actually about. Like, this is actually about a girl that I'm really into, rather than just being vague and saying this past relationship. Yeah, it's being very careful about how you curate that space and welcome everyone in there. A ton, yeah. I mean, I do find little things to be proud of all the time. I think it just kind of helps me keep it going. My biggest ones, I would say, that the internship with that Queen's Orchestra back in New York, I was just in such an interesting position to be able to do that. And I'll forever remember David Close was the name of the maestro. He's still alive, is the name of the maestro. But just the support he gave me to teach me all this music theory and notation, and like bring this tiny little idea of the first song I ever wrote to turn into this massive thing, just for not only like a learning opportunity, but to encourage a young musician to pursue something beyond, okay, you wrote a song, cool, shut the book. No, it's, you wrote a song, what do you want to do with it? What do you want to notate? You want to add a violin? You want to add a viola? You want to add a bassoon in there? What about your voice parts? Have you ever thought about building this out? It was something that had never been presented to me as it could be something beyond just a piano and a voice at that point. So that was a major, major part of my musical journey. And then at Penn State, we have this really, really cool event. It's called Thon. Thon is a big reason why I chose to go to Penn State. It is a pan-Hellenic dance marathon that lasts all weekend, and it raises money for children's cancer. And, you know, we've built a hospital at Hershey, Pennsylvania, that every hospital bill is paid for. Every child that goes there is fully cared for because of Thon. And as a student, I was offered to play for Thon. And it was a crowd of 40,000 students in the Bryce Jordan Center. And I could not explain why, and to this moment, it still boggles my mind, but I was not nervous stepping out to that stage. I had my guitar, I had my mic, and I think just the love in that stadium, that we're all doing this, the saying is for the kids, FTK. Like, I'm helping support this. I see my friends who have been standing for 30 hours at that point, and I get to keep them going by playing some songs that they can sing along to and they can jam to and get their energy up. And that's been the biggest crowd I've ever played to, which was just such a cool experience. And I would love to go back and just be there and just be in that energy. I love playing music, and for me, music is actually I call it my for funsies job. My actual job, I work in tech, as most people do in Austin. So that pays the bills, but I always see like music pays the soul, and that's what keeps me going. So for me, what's coming is I hope to continue enjoying music and, you know, keep creating community, keep connecting with other musicians who can relate to my music, and, you know, who want to connect, especially like finding other female artists in Austin who are, you know, regularly gigging is kind of tough. I don't know what it is about the booking season, or just female artists feeling safe to book out and about in downtown. But, you know, I love finding them, and I love creating that community. And then you even have the smaller section of female identifying queer artists, or just queer artists in general, who are booking regularly and playing music and loving it. So what's next for me is, yeah, I'd love to keep building that community, keep getting to know people, keep sharing my music, and as long as it makes me happy and it makes other people happy, I'll keep playing. Don't compare yourself to other people. That is a big one. Everybody's got a different speed they go at. Everyone's got a different path they're meant to be on. And you have just as big a hand in that path as the place you're trying to play. You know, keep the grind going, keep your effort in there. Don't try to sound like the artist you want to be. Sound like the artist who you are, because your style will come out on its own. Like, it is in you, especially if you're really trying to pursue it. When you're just playing on your own in your bedroom, what do you sound like? What do you like jamming to? What's your favorite playlist in the car? Because that's the type of artist you are. That's who is inside of you. And I find a lot of people tend to get stuck in, they see an artist succeeding in the space that they'd like to succeed in. And then it's a comparison game. It is oh, but they have, I mean, Instagram and followers and all that always comes into play, unfortunately. But, oh, they've got, 10K followers and I only have a couple hundred. I'll never play there. But have you asked? Have you talked? Have you gone and talked to the booker? Have you, put your music out there? Have you taken the steps? Have you even talked to that artist? Have you tried to introduce yourself and be like, hey, I love your stuff. I would love to chat with you at some point, or like, hey, when's your next show? I'd love to come see you. So yeah, getting that comparison little voice out of your head is super important. Just, sticking true to who you actually are. But that comparison thing is massive. Yeah, don't compare yourself. You are individual.
Wow, glad we got to hear some of Julie's music in that interview. And big shout out to Same Sky Productions for hosting our interview shoot. I know Julie enjoyed playing that baby grand.
Yeah, I bet she did. And Same Sky has been a wonderful home to ATXM since the very beginning, when we had our first meeting in 2019. It was right there that we formed the Austin, Texas Musicians nonprofit. We grabbed another great interview at Same Sky with a rising star in the hip-hop community. Meet Thelonious Love.
My name is Thelonious Love. I'm from Houston, Texas. I'm a musician. I have a band. I've been in Austin for about 10 years now, making it in the music scene. And I feel like I'm just getting started, to be honest. It's been a journey. I've learned a whole lot. It takes a team, it takes a tribe. I love hip hop. I love live music, like drums, bass, all of that. So I try to combine all of that in storytelling. Well, I'd say my first two projects were a lot of social justice pieces. I'm a queer Black musician, and I speak on the issues that have affected my life. And, I talk a lot about police brutality, like equity, sustainable equity throughout all people, not just for Black folks, but queer folks. And, just about leveling the playing field, but in an inviting way. I was also really young when I wrote this project, so I had to learn a lot about what that actually meant. And for myself, I think my latest project is more rooted. It's a detour because it's like my breakup album. And that's all like super personal. It hurt, but it's honest and it's raw. And yeah, I got to be a full human with the latest project instead of just being like, here I am to the world, this is my worldview. There's less presentation. I feel like I don't feel like I need to present anything anymore. So that's me. I'm 6'5", so people want to assume I should be playing basketball. I'm queer, so that has its own like how I should present, sexy, this, that, and the other. And then like just all of those stereotypes bleed into music. So, when I get to the pen and paper, it's like, is that who I am? And then am I gonna worry about any of that? Because like, we have the internet now. So it's just like everyone's opinion is there. And you start out, you like want people to like you, you do. But growing up queer, Black, and in Texas, everyone doesn't like you. So you already have this like armor, you know what I mean? And it's hip hop, so it comes with this vibrato and natural like, inner narcissist in a way that you get to play with. So those two, went hand in hand. I think it's a great space for me to write in because it allows me to speak up for myself in any of these challenges, whether it be who I want to sleep with or can I be in this town after dark or any of those things, So, I mean, it's as difficult as it is, like my music wouldn't be what it is without it. So it's kind of goes hand in hand. First listen to them, seek them out. You got to be proactive about it. When people are marginalized like that, you have to be, everything is inherently racist until you make it like overtly anti-racist. So like part of that work is seeking out queer artists, seeking out Black folks and bringing them to the table. And not like, oh, you get to be here, but like giving them a powerful position at the table. Grant money, the Live Music Fund, and then also like giving us space to have variety. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I'm a rapper, but I'm not just like a rapper. I like Led Zeppelin, and stuff like that, Pink Floyd. So it's like, that's in my music. So it's like, I don't have to be a monolith, you know, or representative for an entire people. So I'd say, yeah, listening and just like showing up, you know, not just on Juneteenth, you know, 365. You know, I've written 3 albums. To say that I have a discography is a feat in itself. Like you have to write a lot of songs before you know who you are as an artist or songwriter. So I've written a lot of songs, and now I'm making a live album, which I'm like super stoked about. It's been like hyper production hip hop 808s, whereas I'm just like drums, bass, some Rhodes, and the same lyrics, same songs, but like reproducing it in a live sense. So like that has me jazzed. I'd say, I mean, I think I'm birthing like several projects right now. So it's just like create. There's no editing. Just play right now. Just gonna throw it all out there until that's not fun, and then go back through and figure out what I want to do next. You know, no genre. I don't know if it's hip hop, rock, jazz, all of it. You know, so I love my team. I'm proud of from Shredward, Jet. I'm proud to be surrounded in people who just like are about that life, you know, and like hungry for it. You know, when I leave them, they're doing other things to build what we're doing together. It's not just studio time, you know. So yeah, I'm proud of the ability, you know, our ability to keep going. You know, you get a lot of no's here in this. You gotta like say yes to yourself. So that's what I'm proud of. And more studio time. I'm also a math teacher by day. I'm getting certified in it right now. So like school year will start in the end of August. So I'll be with 8th graders, you know. We all have our day job, but I mean, right now I'm just like birthing as much music as possible. Just going to the studio once a month with a jam session, rotating the players, and come up with a good idea, throw it against the wall, next. Come up with a good idea, throw it against the wall, next. And just until that's not fun. And then it'll be comb through that and see what the themes are, what goes together, who do I hear on this, you know, and just letting it breathe, you know. So it's weird to say that I could be potentially starting several projects. Whereas like I'm normally one at a time kind of guy, but now I'm collaborating more with other vocalists, other artists that are going to help give this thing life. As much as I love Thelonious Love and being on my own and doing that, no one does it alone. So I'm really excited about having a team and that being the story, all of our story. Don't limit yourself and find your tribe. And it's okay to be different, you know, like it's okay to, you know, just to be different. It's going to take a long time. Don't wait. Don't look for a quick payoff. Like if you really want this, you got to want it. It's not, I've been in it 10 years and now I'm starting to eat the fruit of seeds I planted years ago and forgot about. So like, just keep planting seeds and catching blessings is what I say. Plant seeds, catch blessings. But you got to be present for the blessings because you can miss the catch.
I'm such a fan of Theo's music. I had the pleasure of meeting him at the Night Shift event in July, and I'm happy to tell you that besides producing some amazing new music, Theo is going to be more involved in our advocacy efforts going forward. He's got a real heart for service, and we look forward to working with him more.
That's exciting news. Thanks, Jessica.
Yeah.
Last up, in our special Pride Month episode, we learned about the changing landscape in country music with one groundbreaking young artist, AJ Kaiser, and their band Montana Sand.
So my name is AJ Kaiser. I front a band called Montana Sand. I use they, them pronouns. My band Montana Sand is based out of Denver, Colorado, and Austin, Texas. But we do national touring, so I'll kind of go wherever for a gig. A little bit about myself musically, I guess. I grew up playing classical piano. I started by the time I was 8 years old, and then I transferred over to like more of a non-traditional teacher who help me create albums and stuff like that and do more of the singer-songwriter type thing. So I did actually start on keyboard. And I switched over to guitar actually by the time I was in like middle school. And then I went home when I was diagnosed with celiac disease to get better healthcare in Denver because I had lived in a small mountain town and for college. I actually studied psychology for college, but I didn't even study music at all. But it was at home when I was at an open mic, the bartender pulled me aside and was like, "You're so good, we need to book you for like a gig." And I was like, "You can do this as a job?" I was like, "No way, you can do it." Like, as I didn't know. I was so young. And that was 10 years ago. And now today I'm on my 3rd album. The rest of it's coming out on my birthday. A little marketing technique that I'm using because people are going to text me happy birthday. And I'm going to be like, "Just listen to my album. Don't get me a present." So, yeah, it's a little bit about my music. And I started off more like, I would say singer-songwritery, and I'm leaning more country these days, but I have a little mixture of like rock, folk, Americana, bluegrass. It's hard to describe my genre. I definitely feel like I am in the minority, not only as, like, I was obviously presenting more female, and I was very femme. I still like to dress femme. But I'm also very mask presenting. I'm gender fluid, so I'll go between like looking kind of like a 12-year-old boy and then looking like a 26-year-old non-binary person, which I am today, with the more makeup and everything. So I'll go between like feminine and masculine energies pretty often. Today I'm a little bit of both. Definitely like it's hard in the country music scene because I feel like I was already a minority when I was presenting as female, and now that I'm non-binary it's even more challenging. But I feel like a lot of artists that we see these days, like female artists like Beyonce just came out with like a really hit country album, and she's also obviously a person of color, and shout out to Texas, she's from Houston, H-Town, let's go. So I think there's a lot of people that are paving the way for us. There's definitely a long way to come, but I feel like having a fan base that's also queer really helps because my fan base is mainly gay people. So, I mean, it's really just who supports my music the most, and it's who my target audience is. So, I feel like I'm doing pretty well. Definitely hiring more queer artists, putting on more Pride events. Like I just played at Dripping Springs Pride, I think a couple of days ago with my band, and it was just a blast and we had so much fun. And just events like that where they're showcasing queer talent, and also just hiring more queer artists. Like my whole band is queer except for my pedal steel player, but all my backup like substitute players are also queer too. But I feel like generally like Austin's a very accepting place for that. Like you wouldn't think it because it's Texas, but I knew from the moment I came to Austin that I loved it and I wanted to live here, and I moved here for music, so it's been definitely a big challenge. But I feel like my queer fans and my queer friends and my band is like my family because I don't have a family in Austin. I'm getting emotional. Like literally, like I don't have a family here. I moved here all by myself. I didn't know a single soul. I was like, I'm gonna move here for music. I feel like it'll jumpstart my career. I know a lot of people that have done that in Austin. So my band and my fans are like my family here because it's like a chosen family. Like a lot of gay people, they don't have a family because their family doesn't accept them for being trans or lesbian or whatever. And they pick their chosen family, and that's their friends. And I really did find a chosen family here. I'm very proud to say that my band opened for Janelle Monáe at South by Southwest this year, and it was really fun. I had a blast. My mom came and supported, and my best friend was standing in the crowd right there, and I saw her face, and I just had so much fun, and everyone was really supportive of my music. Shout out to Music Forward Foundation. I actually had another achievement this year. I won a grant through Music Forward Foundation, and they were the ones that booked me at South by Southwest because I was an alumni of their program. But I found out about this grant through She-Verb Band, which is another queer band in Austin, and they were like, well, we won a grant and for being queer or something, or upcoming queer artist or something like that. And then I was like, well, if they can do it, maybe I'll apply. Like, I could try it. Like, why not? So I applied and I got the grant, and it's been amazing. I'm able to pay for my hotels on tour. I'm able to pay for merch, pay my employees a livable wage, pay my bandmates a livable wage. It's amazing to have this grant. So thank you so much to Music Forward Foundation for that. And then my last achievement was actually a few weeks ago. We played at the Live Golf tournament in Houston. And the night before, Macklemore headlined at the concert. So my band in Texas, in Austin, we're playing at the Kyle Farmers Market on the 29th at 10:30 a.m. I think it's like an hour set. And then we have some other shows. You can find all my shows at www.montanastand.com/tour. And then for my band in Denver, I'll probably be going back. I'm thinking maybe September or so to play the Gold Hill Inn. The Gold Hill Inn is another big one that I want to shout out just because they're amazing. Their food is amazing. Their staff is amazing. Two brothers own it, but they're like the nicest two brothers ever. Chris is the chef, and then Brian is the owner of the Gold Hill Inn, and they pay a very livable wage to musicians, and the tips are always amazing there. And the people, you can tell, just really care and are really there for the live music. And all my fans in Colorado love it to come there. So I want to shout out Gold Hill Inn. And then also I'll probably be going back to Colorado to play the Mishawaka. But other than that, I have a bunch of shows in Austin lined up. I mostly do solo shows, and then if I can find a show for my band, like, I'll book it. So the message would be, don't be afraid to be yourself. I mean, coming out as non-binary was probably the scariest thing for me because a lot of people are not accepted for being queer. And it's one thing to come out as like bisexual or lesbian or something to your family, which I did when I was like 19. But then coming out as non-binary, which is totally different because like some people that are non-binary want hormones, some people that are non-binary don't want hormones. Some of them want the surgery, some of them don't. I don't want the hormones personally because I'm okay with how I look and everything. And I also am a singer. So I have worked like 10 years to get this far for my voice. Like, I am not messing it up. And I'm not going through that process again. I mean, I could if I wanted to in the very far future and take a break and like retrain my voice and everything. But it's fine. But like when I came out, I told my family that I wanted top surgery, and at first they weren't as accepting, and then they came to be more accepting. So it's very scary at first to be yourself and just be authentic in your own being. But I would say it's the most rewarding thing because out of that, I found friends. Out of that, I found like genuine friends, like people that like I can rely on. And I also found a lot of like happiness, like, and a lot of like authenticity in myself because I wasn't always, like, I still dress feminine sometimes, but I wasn't always as femme as I thought I was. I had a masculine side to me too. So I would say just like be yourself and follow your dreams, because I followed my dream. It wasn't easy. I didn't know anyone when I moved here, as I said. But I created a world of happiness and joy, and I love my job. I wouldn't trade it for anything, so I would say just follow your dream.
Guys, I've been listening to Montana Sand on repeat the last few days, and I'm so in love with the sound. It's dreamy, and I'm especially in love with the single, Baby Blue Eyes. The harmonies are so good. But with that, we hope that we were able to shine a little bit of light on some truly incredible musicians this Pride Month. And with that, our special episode comes to a close.
Austin, Texas Musicians is committed to serving our community through advocacy, education, and a little bit of inspiration along the way. Catch our next episodes to see stories on the projects we're working on and ways we're fighting for all musicians to have a better quality of life within the live music capital of the world. We hope you'll join us on this journey. Happy Pride.
And make sure to get out and support your local queer artists and businesses.
See you next time.
Come on, guys.